Welcome to Work the Way.
Why do you always get to say it?
Oh, go ahead.
Welcome to Work the Way.
It's better when I say it.
Yeah, it definitely is. You go ahead. Deep dive, bite size. We're learning the way of Jesus.
Deep dive?
Bite size.
Yep. All right. The question I want to ask today is, what does it cost us to follow Jesus? I think this is one of those things that for many Christians, it becomes a stumbling block. They're
Absolutely.
like, that's a bridge too far for me.
Yep.
I'll give up everything, but I won't give up that relationship. I'll give up everything, but I won't give up this job or this habit, or God can have control over all my stuff, but my money is my money, whatever that thing is. So we talk about the cost of discipleship. And obviously, because we're asking this question, the answer is going to be everything. It costs us everything, right? But I want to really answer that over some time here.
Yeah.
And not just what does it cost us to follow him, but on the other side of that, what is the cost of not following?
Love it. That's
and
the
so,
real question.
and then which is more expensive?
You bet.
And like, which would you rather pay?
Yeah, totally.
So let's talk about what it costs to follow Jesus.
Yep.
From his words, he says, if anyone desires to come after me,
Yep.
to
Let him deny himself,
follow me,
pick up his cross, follow me. Yep. The first thing that comes to my mind when you say, like, what does it cost to follow Jesus? Like you said, I think that we oftentimes will phrase it as it costs us everything. Really, what it costs us is everything we were never created for in the first place.
Yeah.
That's what it costs us.
Yeah.
And it's like we've tried that.
Yeah.
We have tried it, and it has led to failure. It's led to brokenness, destruction. It's led to shame. It's led to condemnation. It's led to all kinds of negative things in our life. It's leading us nowhere good, and it's leading us there fast.
Yeah.
And so, like, what does it cost us to, like, become a disciple of Jesus? It costs us everything that we were never created for in the first place.
Yeah.
We were created in his image.
But that our soul has come to
Come to
love,
tie.
Right? It's come to be
yep,
like, we've come to understand it almost as a part of ourselves.
No doubt.
So it's not like, because when you phrase it like that,
Yep.
like that
It
phrase
makes sense.
is
It's
really
like, oh
well,
my
you're
goodness,
like,
yeah.
oh, of course, I was
Yeah.
never created for that. I should probably get rid of it.
Totally.
But like, that's that relationship, that person that you fell in love with when
Yep.
you were 15 and you can't get over.
Yep.
That is this, deep psychological need to have more and more money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, we're saying, like, yeah, that's really easy. But those are like all those things that we weren't created for, that we've been living in, embracing, and sort of like interweaving in different parts of us that, like, they're not easy to give up because we don't want to give them up, because we don't always, like, we're like, no, this is part of, this is,
This is who I am. Yeah.
yeah, like,
Right.
this is my, like, your defense mechanisms, your anger or your passive aggression or your whatever it is. Like, Jesus is asking, hey, that's part of the cost
Yep.
here. But that's not safe for me then.
For sure.
So like thinking of, so yes, it costs us everything we were created for.
Yep.
But which sounds and looks easier, bumper stick, but it's like, that is deep work.
Yep, no doubt.
And
it's getting rid of selfishness.
And
like, that's the tie that keeps us bound to all those things is self.
Yeah.
And so you said it right at the beginning of this podcast, that if we want to follow Jesus, it's going to look like denying ourselves.
Yeah.
That's step number one to discipleship.
Yeah.
That is counting the cost and saying, I'm dying to those things. And it's not like a natural thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be a supernatural work of God.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, that's what this is all about. We're not earning our way to God. We are simply yielding ourselves to him, and it becomes a supernatural work where we're saying, God, I want to get rid of my selfishness, because that's what has tied me to the way that I was never created to be. And that's why it feels so personal to me to give up. I don't want those things anymore. I know where they've led me. I know where you want to lead me.
Yeah.
I've got to first die to myself. And then every single day, that's what we're doing. We're making that decision, die to myself, pick up my cross, follow after him. I love just what you had said at the beginning. Like, there's a cost to discipleship. There's also a cost to non-discipleship. And like, what's more expensive? It's far more expensive, ultimately, to give up not being a disciple.
Yeah.
It's just like what we gain becoming who we are always created to be, being able to have a life that actually brings glory to God, that actually pleases God, that actually brings genuine fulfillment and genuine satisfaction in our life, not something that's passing or temporary, but something that's eternal and isn't affected by our circumstances and our situation.
Yep.
That's what we would be giving up by saying no to this,
Yeah.
and saying yes to our selfishness.
Yeah.
The thing that has led us into destruction.
Again
It's
and
like
again.
the cost is, it's monumental what we would be giving up.
Right.
There.
And we're honestly watching this play out on a large scale, like anxiety, levels of depression. Just go down the list. The dissatisfaction generally with life, the malaise, the amount of just like all of that stuff. We're just like watching the cost of not following
Non-discipleship.
Jesus and non-discipleship,
Yep.
of like just again and 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 again. Generationally, we're watching it just sort of like come and pop up. And now and so when you say like Jesus is like, hey, my yoke is easy, my burden is light.
You bet.
And he's so right comparatively.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's
really good.
so right comparatively. I think of the work it takes for me to follow Jesus as a husband and a father. That's not no work, but it's significantly less work than going through a crazy divorce and then trying to see my kid every other weekend and fighting for custody
goodness.
and like trying to pick up those pieces out of my heart and all this stuff just because I wanted to go have a weekend.
Because it
fling
was
or
easy
something.
to say to sign the contract or to say I want the divorce because
Yeah.
it's going to be easier on like my immediate my feelings
or to
right
do
now.
or to commit the sin that leads to
Yep.
the divorce
Yep.
or to just harden my heart
Absolutely.
in selfishness because I don't want to die to myself. I'd rather have my way in my marriage, and that just is not that's not gonna work, man.
Absolutely.
Like, and so over time, but what you're doing is you're creating like a very, very difficult life for yourself. That cost is way, way more than just me waking up and deciding to be faithful, deciding to love, and deciding not to be selfish in my marriage, but to try to be like Jesus to my family. Because all of a sudden, now like the cost of that is like a joy for me now. I could have an awful marriage where I'm selfish, where I get what I want, and I say I need all these things, and I'm like, I get my Saturdays are for the boys, whatever that thing is. Like, I get all of that, and I can have that, but like, just to kind of manage all of that, the work and the kind of the pain and all that kind of stuff. Or I can live like Jesus, and the kingdom of heaven invades with me.
You bet.
So now it's not just me, but now I have like peace at the house, and now I have joy overflowing at the house, and we're all paying the price of laying down our selfishness and laying down all these like the things that God is asking us to lay down and denying ourselves. We're doing that stuff, and that's difficult for all of us. But the environment that's coming out of there is so different than a contentious, awful environment. Like, it's proverb. One of the proverbs says that a contentious wife, you just put her on the roof.
Or on the roof,
Yeah.
It's like a dripping.
And
it's like a
it's
constant
like-
dripping.
Yeah, just put her on the roof. And it's like, but like, it's your fault if the roof is
Yeah.
leaking. You know what I mean? That's your house. And,
for sure.
and in a big way, let's be the people who say, you know what? I'm going to lay it all down. And in laying it all down, sowing those seeds, maybe not tomorrow, but at a certain point, the little mustard seed creates shade.
Yep, no doubt.
And it creates like in a outside place, it creates a comfortable place to live, a comfortable place to sit. And so like the cost of non-discipleship is all that bad stuff, you know what I mean? And then you got, just all of that, the heartache, the pain, the nonsense that goes with being that way.
Yeah.
Or following in the way of Jesus, doing what he did, saying what he says, learning to be his apprentice. What would he do if he were in my shoes? Just that thing, and just watching, like, that's difficult. It is difficult, and it's a heavy price, but at least it's an honest one.
You bet. And I mean, it's been said, like, nothing worth it ever came easy, right? We see that played out in life all the time. Like, if you want to advance in your career, it's going to take hard work.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what Christianity, like, a lot of times we think all we're focused on is the work. We're not focused on, like, the outcome.
Yeah.
And if we can just get our eyes on eternity, we can get our eyes beyond just the hard work of the moment, we're going to see, man, this is going to pay off. And it's going to pay off more than I can even imagine.
Yeah.
What we like to do is we like to live by our feelings. We're a feelings-driven culture.
Yeah.
And so what is it doing for me now? How is it making me feel? So sin, right? It might be exciting initially. This is what I like to say. It might be exciting initially, but it is always expensive eventually. It will cost you. And so we've got to understand that nothing worth it has ever come easy. This road walking with Jesus is one that's hard. And it's narrow, and few are those who find it, because because all they're focused on is their feelings. They're focused on how difficult it is, rather than where is it taking me.
Yeah.
I've got to be focused on where it's taking
get
me.
your eyes up
Absolutely.
to where help comes from.
Jesus is the truth because he's right.
Yeah.
He's the way because he's been where we want to go, and
Yeah.
he's willing to like take us by the hand and lead us there.
Yeah.
Right. He's the life because he knows who he created us to be.
Yeah.
And so like we just engage with him.
Yeah.
And that becomes our reality.
Right.
Love it.
Right. And thinking about like Jesus is the price that he's telling us is he's up front.
Yep.
He says this is the cost.
Exactly.
Sin never is up front.
Yep.
Sin is like your internet service provider that says, hey, it's just like $40 a month. Then you look at your bill next year and it's like $78 a month. You're like, what happened here?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what happened here? This was just supposed to be a weekend fling with this girl. What happened here?
Yep.
This was just supposed to be, I was just going to kind of lead him to Jesus. But now what happened here?
Mm-hmm.
The cost just goes up and up and up. Sin always leads. I love that you say, what is?
Sin might be exciting initially, but it's always expensive eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm even
Always.
thinking, so like what has changed, or a lot has changed over the last 2,000 years. Christianity, it used to be a high buy-in, right? It was like you had to count the cost to get in, but then those who had counted that cost, it became easy to live that life. It didn't matter the persecution that came. It didn't matter the suffering that came with it. It didn't matter that like friends turned against me or family turned against me, because I was following Jesus and I knew where it was taking me. So it was hard to count the cost, but once they were able to, it became easy to live it out.
Yeah.
Now today, it's become really easy. We've brought it way down. Now it's about a prayer to pray.
Yeah.
There isn't like we're not saying count the cost.
Yeah.
We're saying pray to prayer because Jesus loves you, right?
Right.
And like, okay, that's true. Jesus does love you.
Right.
We have to. Jesus told us count the cost of discipleship.
Yeah.
So we've made it really easy to get in, but now it is so, you look at Christians' lives,
Yeah.
it is so hard to live the Christian life now.
Yeah.
Because they take everything else personal and not Jesus.
Yeah.
So life becomes personal.
Yeah.
My circumstances become personal. How much I have in the bank account becomes personal. My marriage, all those things become so personal to me.
Yep.
Instead of Jesus is personal.
Right.
Right. And so we've kind of switched things around simply because we don't talk about that cost.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed things up. And like, I think we would do well if we got back to, hey, there's a high cost to this,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's costing you everything you were never made for in the first place.
Yep.
And what you gain pales all those things in
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah. Huge. There's a book by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a really cool guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the book is called The Cost of Discipleship. It's very good. It's a standard. Everyone should read it.
Sure. I think I tried starting to read it.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy stuff.
Yeah,
It's so good.
He was
it's
like
heavy.
he was like young when he died, and he was like just a brain man, and just like so smart, but also like really kind of like funny and everything. But like some of that stuff is really dense. But it misses the cost of non-discipleship. And he's kind of like, and he was fighting some of the things that we're fighting as far as like liberalism in churches and stuff.
Sure.
He's like looking at that, saying like, look, you're just kind of, this is not cheap to do, but it's like, I would say it's more expensive to not do.
Yep, absolutely.
So when this comes to our discipleship, how this all goes, how are we going to change? The big question we're asking about like, what does, changing and becoming like Jesus look like? Is like, this is a big adventure with a high ticket price. And we're not being dishonest about that, but we're saying like, hey, there's a bigger ticket price you're going to pay if you don't come in this way.
Yeah, for sure. People buy tickets to shows because they know what they're going to get on the other side.
Yep.
Like the cost is worth it to them as they go and buy it.
Yeah.
And so we've got to see the cost, but understand that what we're going to get is pales in comparison.
And what we get, just life with Jesus.
Yep.
As we were made to live, abiding joy, abiding peace, life to the full. Jesus is like, this is what I want for you.
Yep.
And this is the road that goes there. Amen.
Yeah.